Hello, today I'm going to talk about whether China is a safe country. So just give you some background about myself. I am Chinese. I moved to the United States almost 18 years ago and lived in the United States for a long time. I went back to China from time to time. I spent almost 7 months back in China. And I noticed there are a lot of YouTube videos made by non-Chinese who spend substantial amount of time in China, and they talk about China. And I felt a little bit surprised because none of the Chinese immigrants in the United States or Canada made any videos. So today I'm going to just make a video about whether China is safe. So I spent a substantial amount of time in China back in 2017, so I think I'm qualified to talk about this question. The easiest source to find out about whether China is safe is actually from the U.S. government, the State Department Travel Advice, Safety and Security. Here's the words. Just increase the font size. For most visitors, China remains a very safe country. Petty street crime is the most common safety concern for U.S. citizens. Okay, so basically you can see criminal schemes such as tourist tea scams, phone scams, black cabs, counterfeit currency. So I think this is a very good resource. The State Department, it's a fair evaluation of the situation in China, safety situation. You can see the personal safety, that the probability that you're a victim of a violent crime is extremely low. But there's a high chance of this kind of fraud, a scam. It's a petty theft type of stuff. So that's basically the situation. There's another thing I like to mention, this travel advisory. This is more of a political risk. So Chinese authority tend to arbitrary enforcement of local laws as well as special restrictions on dual U.S. Chinese nationals. So if you are a dual U.S. Chinese citizen, you need to be careful because you are still considered a Chinese citizen and you may be detained by the Chinese authorities. This I don't think applies to most people visiting China. Most people visiting China are either Chinese or non-Chinese. I don't think a lot of people use dual citizenship. Okay, that's pretty much it. Next question I'd like to talk about is China safer than the United States? If you think about just the risk of being the victim of a violent crime, I can tell you straight that China is substantially safer than the United States. So the United States is a very safe country for most part. If you live in the suburban area, if you're in a nice neighborhood of then you are pretty okay. But there are some really bad neighborhood in pretty much every U.S. city, big cities, and the vast majority of the American citizens, American people live in big cities along the coast area. So for big cities, there are certain neighborhoods you should be very careful. There are certain things you do in China you cannot do in the United States. For those who moved to the United States from China, you need to be careful where you are. If you're in one of those kind of shitty neighborhood, you can easily become a victim of violent crime. One story is the Yinjiang, if you have heard of it, back in, I think, 2017 or 18. This girl from China attended the, I think, scholar, 26 years old, at U.S.A. She was murdered by some guy from U.S.A. actually graduated from the physics department for U.S.A. His name is Brent Christensen. He pretended to be a police officer, and he tried to get a girl into his car. That girl is American, and she refused. And then this Chinese girl, unsuspecting, got into his car and got murdered in his apartment. So this kind of stuff, you need to be aware. You need to, in the United States, you can't just do things like you were in China, like going out of like 12 a.m. early in the morning and eat some food and a single female and walking home. That kind of stuff is okay in China, but not here. You need to be very cautious. In China, of course, there are some other risks like pollution and stuff, but that's a different story. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thank you.